Tov, Shabbat Shalom, my friends. It is good to see you. Welcome to Congregation Dor Tamid and our Shabbat morning story time. I'm Rabbi Jordan, and I'm so glad you are all with me this morning as we join together for another Shabbat story time. This morning, as we come together, we will once again sing a couple songs and then read a couple stories to start our day on this beautiful day of Shabbat, on this day that always is beautiful, but looking outside right now looks especially gorgeous this morning. So I hope that after Shabbat story time, you either go to services like I'm going to, but at some point spend some time outside today because it is so nice out and such a blessing that we have the ability to go outside and run and play and have a good time on this day of rest, on this day of Shabbat. And that's a mitzvah in and of itself, is to spend time with our family, with our friends, and enjoying the world, being present in the world, in creation on Shabbat. So let's begin by singing a song. If you want to say good morning or Boker Tov or Shabbat Shalom, I invite you to use the chat on Facebook, or the comment section, on Facebook, but we will begin with singing a Shabbat song. Bim. Bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam, chiri, biri, biri, bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Ma'yafeh Hayom, Shabbat, Shalom, Ma'yafeh Hayom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom. Our first story for this morning is a new one. I just got it this week, and it is called The Brother's Promise. And it's written by Francis Haber, and the illustrations are by Thor Wickstrom. Once in yestertime, there was a rich farmer. His name was Chaim, which in Hebrew means life. Every seed that Chaim ever sowed burst into life. Rows of beet leaves, fat cabbages, potato plants, and sun-kissed wheat filled his fields. Chaim also raised two strong sons, Yankel and Joseph. With their father's help, they too learned how to be good farmers. Chaim taught them that everything on earth has a season, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to be born, and a time to die. One sad day, Chaim knew that his time had come, so he gathered his sons to his side for the last time. He made them promise to divide the land in half, to work together, and to always take care of each other. Because when a brother helps a brother, the angels in heaven weep tears of joy, whispered Chaim, just before he closed his eyes. Yankel and Joseph kept their promise to their father, but the two brothers were very different. Yankel married the tailor's daughter, and they had 3 fine children. After a hard day's work in the fields, Yankel liked nothing better than to be with his family, eating, singing, and playing his fiddle. Fiddle schmiddle, teased Joseph one day. Brother, is that all you can think of? Yankel pointed proudly to his happy children, who were dancing the hora on the tabletop. Joseph, look, in the fiddler's house, everyone dances. But the dancing type Joseph was not. He grew more like the beet. The best part was buried deep inside the ground. Joseph lived alone. On the other side of the farm, he built himself a simple house. When the day's work was done, Joseph was happiest sitting quietly by a worn wooden table. There he studied holy books of wisdom like the Torah and the Talmud. Too many books. It will take you 100 harvests to finish them, joked Yankel one night. And why must you read so slowly? Joseph explained, when I pray quickly because I'm talking to God. But when I read slowly because God is talking to me. Despite their differences, Yankel and Joseph continued to be friends. They worked together and the farm grew even richer. While it's true that the earth has its seasons, sometimes they get mixed up and trade places. And so it happened one year that the sunny season came instead of the rains. All day long the sun glared. The earth dried up. Roots had nothing to grasp. Leaves shriveled and turned brown. For the first time, it looked like there would be no food from Chaim's farm. One night, long after his wife and children were tucked in their beds asleep, Yankel stayed up. He played a sad tune on his fiddle. He was thinking about his brother. I have a wife and children to help me. Joseph has no one. I wonder if he has saved enough food to last him through these hard times. Silently, Yankel took a lantern and went down into the cellar. There he gathered beets, potatoes, cabbages, and wheat to pile into his wheelbarrow. Under a starry sky and across the empty fields, he pushed his load. In the distance, he could see one candle still burning in the window of Joseph's little house. Joseph must have his nose in a good book. Good, I will slip into his barn and leave the food. Tonight, Joseph was not reading. A book was open, yet not a page had been turned. He was worrying about his brother. I am only one, but my brother has a wife and children to feed. If nothing on the farm grows, his whole family could go hungry. Joseph thought and thought about this until his candle was just a flicker. Then he lit a lantern, went to his barn, and packed a wheelbarrow high with food. Joseph pushed his heavy load across the fields towards his brother's home. Everyone in Yankel's house was asleep, even the fiddle. Joseph crept into his brother's cellar and left the food. The next morning, when Yankel went down into the cellar, he found he had exactly the same amount of food as he had already had the day before. I thought I took food to my brother. Joseph is right. I fiddle too much. My head is befuddled. I must do better tonight. When Joseph went into his barn, he found out that he had just as much food as yesterday. Didn't I take food to my brother? Yankel is right. I read too much. I'm confusing everything. Tonight I will do better. That night, when the moon hung low in the trees, Yankel heaped his wheelbarrow full of food and again delivered it to his brother's barn. Later, when the moon shone high in the sky, Joseph, too, made another trip with a full wheelbarrow. The next morning, both brothers found that not one potato or beet, kernel of wheat, or head of cabbage was missing. There's a little imp out there trying to trick me, declared Joseph. Tonight in my brother's cellar, I will catch the little cheat. So, now even the ghosts are worried about food. Why else would they steal it back except to eat it later? Figured Yankel, squeezing a potato to see if it was still real. Tonight, at my brother's barn, I will surprise the miserable old spirits and chase them back into the grave. Once again, the brothers filled their wheelbarrows. Only tonight they both set out at exactly the same time. In the distance, each could see dark shadows dancing across the fields. Ha, thought Joseph, the despicable food-snatching imp. Oh no, thought Yankel, the greedy ghosts. Closer and closer the shadows loomed. This imp must be crazy. Why, he doesn't even try to hide his sneaky face. Have those ghosts no shame? They don't even bother to flee. The brothers met neither imp nor ghost. In the middle of Chaim's farm, in the pale glow of moonlight, they met each other, face to face. Each pushed a wheelbarrow full of food for the other. At once they understood what had happened, and they remembered Chaim's last words. At that moment, a spike of lightning split the night sky. When the brothers looked up, the heavens opened and poured out tears of joy that soaked the earth. The end. So I hope you enjoyed our story this morning, and I hope you have a great Shabbat day. Our morning service starts at 10:30 this morning, and we're going to celebrate with Gemma Schiffer and her family as she celebrates becoming a bat mitzvah this morning, the newest adult member of our community. And then tonight, I hope to see you all back here on Facebook or our website to join me for Havdalah at 7:30 as we say goodbye to Shabbat for another week. Until then, I hope you have a great day and a day full of fun and laughter and blessings. Shalom, chaverim, shalom, chaverim, shalom, shalom, lehitraot, lehitraot, shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom, my friends.